Ladies and gentlemen, the Madness Entertainment Group presents Puts the Comic Artist Hour with Les Garner.
Welcome back to another week, folks. Howdy, y'all.
What's that?
It's another Wednesday, and I'm actually doing more bride stuff. So that's kind of cool. So for those who don't know...
Oh, what just happened? I got something else open. Hold on. There we go. My YouTube jumped on. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Madness. Les Garner Drawstreet.
For those who don't know, my book Brides, I gotta take one of these earbuds out. It's weird. I hate talking with those things in. My book Brides did well in Kickstarter, and a publisher who I've worked with, I do a number of things for them, and they watched the Kickstarter, and close to the end, they were like, "Hey, we want to make a deal. We would like to pick this up." And I was like, "Please, please do."
Please do, yes.
Yeah. It's like, well, deals can be made. So I am right now working on, see, they put out a number of different books. They've got a horror anthology that they're launching or relaunching called Gasp. Now, you'll hear the word relaunch a lot when I talk about these guys, because they were publishing hot and heavy back in the mid to late 90s. And there's a lot of history there, and they had some really cool stuff. Like when I first talked to them, I had no idea who they were, and I was just like, "Yeah, job, I'll do it." And then in the context of talking to them, they mentioned a horror anthology they used to do called Gasp. And I was like, "Wait a minute, I know that book. Like, I recognize that book. That's cool." And so they're relaunching Gasp. And I just finished a 31-page story for Gasp that is kind of the centerpiece of the first issue of it. And then since it's an anthology, they'll be running other like short stories and things in it. So I think they're putting this in the first issue. They want to run a six-page Brides story. That would be kind of a little primer, a little introduction. And it's not real. I wouldn't call it an introduction, because it actually takes place at the end of volume 1. That's what we did the Kickstarter for. So it's basically like a 6-page epilogue to volume 1 of Brides, and I'm having a blast with it. So, we should have. God, this hurts. Man, my leg is hurting. We should have PDFs going out to people pretty soon. I know they didn't want to put the PDFs out too far from people getting their print copies, which, that's, I'm not, I don't really have an opinion one way or another on that. So anyway, the PDF will be coming soon to folks, and they'll be able to read it. And then the books are already printed and being bagged and boarded and everything's getting processed to ship out. So, all of the Brides backers should see their stuff starting to arrive in the next couple of weeks at least. And in the meantime, I am working on this 6-page story, and I'm doing the lettering on this one myself, just because I don't know, well, first off, there's been a recent update to Clip Studio that makes it way easier to do the lettering myself and not get as frustrated as I did when I did Apocalypse Girl. And so, that being the case, I'm probably going to be doing my own lettering on, doing the lettering on books that I write more and more often, just because I like having that level of control with it. And I have this attitude about the process of making comics. I think that if you lock it down too tightly too early from like your script or your thumbnails and things like that, then you're constraining yourself against what you might come up with when you're actually in the thick of working on the page. And I don't ever want to waste a chance at getting good stuff on a page. So I tend to go about writing books a couple of different ways. I tend to, a lot of times I will write a book in this way where, like, I'll go through and say, okay, page 1, this happens on that page. Page 2, this was what happens on that page. I'll do these little synopses of each page, just a quick little one line or a couple of bullet points of what beats of the story need to hit on that page. And like when I was planning out Apocalypse Girl, I planned out the 6-issue series based on, like, okay, this is the overview. Like I had basically a synopsis in my head of what the entire story was going to be. Then I broke down and did a synopsis for each issue. Then under each issue, I did a synopsis for each page. And then that's what I primarily worked from as my script. So then I would get to the page and be like, okay, this page, these things need to happen. Okay. And I'd work it out there. A lot of times I'll do that where I'll go through and I'll do thumbnails then for the book and kind of get my ideas gelled out that way. But so being able to do my own lettering means that on stories that I'm writing, I'm not committed to the narration, the verbiage, anything. I'm not committed to any of that until the very end. And oftentimes in the course of drawing something, I might have written down for myself, character A busts through the ceiling. But then as I've drawn other stuff leading up to that, I realized it would make more sense for them to say, come in through a window or come in through a door. Just for whatever reason, I might have something in my mind when I'm writing something that doesn't fully work out until, doesn't really work out until I'm actually drawing the pages. And so I really like to make sure that I got that kind of freedom. Oh, did you hear something? Is that what was that? Or was that just me? Something might have just come through my earbuds. Okay. So anyway, working on the on this stuff, I'm starting to do my own lettering, and I really like that because then as I finish a page, I'm able to just see how it reads, and that makes so much more sense for me. Now you can see the first 2 pages of this, which I'm really happy with. So,
it's looking good.
Thank you. So I'm doing some old school horror stuff with it that I really enjoy. This first page to me feels like a modern riff on what you would have found in creepy or eerie back in the day, and that's what I want. So, I enjoyed doing the lettering stuff up there with the title of the story. And anyway, it's just fun. So this second page was a bear. I normally don't spend this much time on pages, but I wanted the interior of that tavern to just be tricked out. So
Dustin from the Geek Man says, "Hey, Les."
Howdy.
And Woody popped in chat over there on YouTube as well. Good to see you guys, man. Please share this out. Let's get Les seen. Let's get him seen.
So I am doing most of these. Most of my pages are done digitally these days. I do some traditional, but on this 6-issue piece, I'm doing this all digitally. So I'm just going to get in here and start kind of slinging some ink. Make sure I've got a brush size that I want. Pen. Let's be thicker. Thick. There we go. Now, for those who don't know, my hand is not as steady as that line looks going down. I wish it were. But there's a really nifty little trick in here. And I love it because it is very similar to what you get using kind of brushes that I use. So the brushes that I like to use when I'm inking have longer bristles. And what that means is that there's a lag between what goes off of that brush and where my hand is at. And by virtue of the way that works, those bristles are compensating for any little bit of shake that's in my hand. In Clip Studio, you can turn on this thing called Adjust by Speed. And so like if I have that turned off and I just come out here and do that, you see you get this, you get a jaggy, squiggly line. But if I have it turned on and I come in here and do it, you probably can't hardly tell there. If I turn this way up, you'll see it more. It smooths that out, which really feels a lot like using a brush. So I usually keep that set to a 2, and then just get in here and start cranking on it now. It's always weird for me to be talking about this stuff while I do it, because this is actually very quiet work. I spend most of my days being pretty quiet. Let's turn that up a bit. It's actually one of the things I enjoy about doing this for a living, is that it's quiet and really peaceful. No, don't do that. Nah. I hit the wrong thing with the bucket. So I may get kind of quiet while I'm working on this. So if anybody has any questions out there, that's all good.
Just statements like, "I like Les. He educates us on these things, and he uses long words like."
Y'all funny. This is a neat trick I'm doing right here. See, I just inked this thing that's in the foreground, and I've got custom stuff set up on here, so I can hit this button that says Advanced Fill, and you'll see that fills in all the empty spaces with white. And let's go in here, darken that up. And then I can, once I have a selection made and I run that advanced fill on it, I'll come back over with my paint bucket set to transparent and just click in those areas. And now this is, see, that can go anywhere if I wanted to, but it allows me to then go, say, to the next layer of what I'd be doing. I tend to think of the scene in layers. So like next, I'm going to go to this guy right here, start inking him, and I can draw through because I'm on a layer beneath that chair. So let's just, here we go. Boom. And if I want, I can turn the chair off and keep working with that. I really prefer working digital these days just because of all the advantages that you have with things like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have like an original piece, and sometimes I do go traditional so that I have a physical piece, and that's usually for pages that I think are ones that are probably going to be interested in by, have a collector interest in them. So I like to make sure did I not close that up right? I did not close that up right. I try to make sure that I have a few of those here and there, but I'm not a real stickler for it. And when I'm trying to get a lot of work done, I'm gonna be primarily digital. So anybody watching who hasn't seen this stuff before, whenever you see these X's in an area, that's a note to make an area black. I think I saw an original piece once when I was a kid, like a teenager, from somebody. I think it was a Todd McFarlane piece. And it was one of the rare times that Todd wasn't inking himself. And this piece had little X's everywhere. And I, looking at these original pencils, I couldn't hardly tell what was what. And then I, compared it to the finished published piece, and I was like, oh, he's marking off, all the black areas. That's kind of cool.
Right.
And it makes it much faster when you're doing the pencils. Which there's a book that I just agreed to do, where I'll be doing one of the few times where I'll be doing just pencils, and so I guess I'll be making a lot of X's. I'm going to be penciling a book that's got inks being done by Peter Palmiotti. If you folks, some of you folks might remember Pete.
Oh yeah,
Pete,
I know Pete. Actually, just recently seen he's popping back into the scene.
Yep.
A little more. I mean, the social scene. I'm sure he didn't stop drawing. He hasn't been out doing a lot of posting. Over the last year.
I can't blame him. I hate doing it too.
It was a rough year for him anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's funny for me because Pete and I have known each other for about 15 years now, 10 or 15 years. And I don't even remember how we got in touch with each other. I really can't remember now. But it just blew my mind because I was, when he and I met, I was familiar with his work because I remembered his name from back in the 90s. And of course, everybody and their brother knows his brother Jimmy.
Yeah.
These are, I think, Brooklyn guys. I think they were from Brooklyn. I mean, I know they're New York natives. I think it was Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And it was just wild to me to find out when Pete and I started talking that he lives these days in somewhere near Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. I'm like, the hell is a Brooklyn guy doing moving down to Kentucky?
Getting away from Brooklyn?
Yeah, ain't that the truth? I mean, I know I was in New York a lot for a few years of my life, and there's things that I will always miss about it, although that was during the Giuliani years. And
Yeah.
that was a good time in New York. But yeah, it's kind of funny. You don't meet that many people who move from New York down to Kentucky. It's usually going to be the other way around.
Man. I got to go check something out. You're on your own for a minute.
Okay. It's going to be the most boring stream ever today, y'all. Me just sitting here diddling, but hopefully you dig what you see. Let's see. I need to close up this area right here. That turned off. Right. Now, let's find out if I got that closed off. Yes, I did. Yay. Good times. All right. I bet that's not closed off. No, it's not. So, let's see. If I hold control and I click on my layer mask for that panel, I'll get a selection of that. A very useful little trick. There we go. I'm going to come back in here with some white just to knock some little lines in here and there that help kind of give some contours. Get rid of that. All right. Now then, we've got this hand right here. I'm going to turn my adjust by speed back on for more of this. Okay. And, I didn't pencil the rest of that leg in there. Well, it's going to be covered up mostly by that chair, but I'm going to go ahead and throw some love that way. Okay. Then Control Alt and click on that layer mask. We'll remove that one from the area. So then now I can fill that. Let's continue that contour right there. There we go. And now I'm going to use my advanced fill. I'm going to fill that with white. And then take my bucket and transparent pixels and fill outside of that.
Oh, Woody says we like to watch. Woody says we like to watch.
Okay.
These other boys are, they like to watch things.
Now then, I'll throw a new layer in here and start inking this lady. So I'm going to turn her over and there we go. tend to slow down on the faces. I'm real picky about that. Okay. I'm starting to think I'm going to have to rejig my entire setup here, because after I sit here for a little bit right now, my leg starts to hurt really bad. I'm not sure what's causing it. Feels like the sciatic nerve or something like that. It's really annoying. Gotta stretch for a second. There we go. I've spent way too much time locked to my desk for the last 2 weeks, because I had my primary vehicle. Actually, I have 2 vehicles, and both of them are in the shop right now. So we haven't left, my wife and I haven't left the farm in 2 weeks. And while I do love it here, that also means that I'm going to be here and not be getting in the gym. And when I don't get my workouts in, I get stiffened up and everything starts to hurt, because I'm old. Let's see here. Where are we going with this? Okay, that's my hair coming in here. Hair is kind of fun. Let's see here. Kind of come back in there. The pencils you see on here is about as tight as my pencils ever really get if I'm inking myself. If somebody else is inking it, I might go tighter depending on who the inker is. Some inkers are really good draftsmen in their own right, so you don't need to do quite as much, and that's nice when you can get that. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Let's see here now. She's wearing kind of a loose sleeved blouse. And the pressure sensitivity in here is a wonderful thing, because the thickness and thinness of your lines really helps. And when you vary that stuff, it really helps with giving a good illusion of cloth on things. Right there is a time where I inked through these lines for the hair. So then I just come back in with some white and touch it back up. Okay. There's that. And she's got a knee sticking out here with cloth pulling from it, so I'm just going to do that. I have this weird thing lately where I try to do as many things with one unbroken line as I can. And I've found that trying to do that helps keep my lines smoother. Let's change that to monochrome. So, okay. Here's this. Nice. 2, 3. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I have this habit of counting when I'm doing hands. Okay, there's that. Now her dress continues over here, so I'm going to make a selection out of her, use my fill, and then kick all that out, and then I'll finish that dress up from behind her in a different layer. And that way I feel like I can be a little more free with it. And also I know that I'm going to be filling that in with quite a bit of black here in a minute. So let's go with a smaller tip. Yeah, it looks like maybe I got, no, don't want that. There we go. All right. And from there, we can just merge these together. I should be able to fill that in. That does show me that I need to like come back around this guy's foot right here. So that's fine. Some white. All right. Next, I would be remiss if I didn't come in here and make sure that I've got that filled up. That filled up, sweet. All right. Now we want to do another layer here for Eva. And then once these characters are done, then I'll be adding in the shards from the door breaking up as Eva is bashed through it. This is fun because Eva Eva is kind of the anti-hero heroine of the Bride's stuff, and this story is kind of Eva at her worst, and I'm enjoying cutting loose on that.
Yeah, I had somebody approach me just a couple days ago and give me the print ready files to their comic and asked me if I wanted to go ahead and print and distribute and sell the book. So he sent me the first book, all print ready, and the second book, all the PDFs, they're not print ready yet, but they, can quickly be. And he's working on the third book right now. And he's like, he's just discouraged with looking at crowdfunding in general. And he's like, I don't even want to mess with it, So
it's a pain in the ass for sure.
Well, so I got a hold of RJ and I was like, hey, we can print these up. We can, put these on Amazon and put them in Walmart and Barnes and Noble and everything and help this dude sell some books. And then dude's like, no, you don't understand. I give you. He basically gave me the first 2 books of the series and he's working on the third.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't, I was taken aback. Let me put it that way. There's no way I'm going to do this for dude and him not get anything out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no way that's happening. But we are going to, we're going to format these up and they're going to be published by Critical Blast, presented by the Madness Entertainment Group. And we'll be showing off some sneak peeks and stuff of that art too here real soon. I don't know. I can maybe show you a little piece right now. I think. Let me go see if I can
see what you got going on, man.
Let me go see if I can find something y'all want to look at. Let me see. Oh, where is it? Okay, there's the print ready. So come on now, give me all the files. Show me the files. All right, I'll give you the. Oh wait, it's not the right kind of file. I gotta go somewhere else. Gotta go somewhere else and get it. That one won't. Ah! What are you doing? What are you doing, computer? Stop! I don't want Firefox. It's crazy. Okay, let's see. Let me get see if we can open this one. Yeah, let's see. I think this is a cover for book 2. If it'll let me show you, I will show you. Hold on. Go the screen share route. See if it'll do it that way. Oh, yeah. There you go. So there you go. Here is the cover of book 2.
Let's see what you got here.
It is called
Good.
Chronicles of the Afterworld, Sovereign, the Eclipse Stone. And he said that's the art for the cover for book 1. There's a little synopsis, little intro, written by Timothy J. Himes. And he's the one that sent this all to me. Look at this.
Yeah, keep scrolling through that. It's pretty good looking stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I can do something with this. Okay, there's no booby, but shh, don't tell nobody. And I like the looks of this, man. So we will be printing book 1. And I'm not going to show book 1. That was a little taste of book 2. Nope, that was a little taste of book 2. That's all you get. But yeah, man, it's all action around here.
That was pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Whew.
Yeah, it's just there's always somebody in my inbox. There's always something going on, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, that one came out of nowhere. So keep your eyes out for Chronicles of the Afterworld Saga coming soon to Critical Blast. We're definitely going to promote the heck out of that one. And
Very nice.
we're just going to keep doing what we do, people.
Let's see here now. This is going to get a lot of shadows. And I'm sitting here doing this in a great deal of pain right now because my leg is hurting bad. Don't like that. Right. Let's see here now. There we go with that. Pull some of this back in here. Nice. I think I've got an opportunity for something here that's a little tricksy. Let's make sure I have that completed. Now I should be able to click on the magic wand in there. No, not quite. So I'm going to make sure that I have this hold line here completed. And once that hold, I see why it's not working. There we go. Now I've got a selection inside that area. And then that's going to let me kind of go nuts here with some stuff that I like doing. Okay. And I have that blacked in. Okay, and now I'll come back through here. So we'll contour lines. Let's see if we can't create a bit of depth. There we go. Now then, we've got some more of this tattered stuff coming off of her. I like to kind of go crazy with it. Like that. And here, come through here. And since her stuff is all tattered, I'm keeping that adjust by speed turned off so that because I actually want some kind of jaggy, rough lines on that. There we go. Nice. Let's turn adjust by speed back on. And I think, yeah, I'll black that in. And arm right here. Can't forget her stitches. There we go. Now, this arm right here, I'm going to give some shadows to. Keep that kind of weight going on. Let's come in here. Darken some of this stuff up so that it separates a little better. Let's see here now. Let's turn off my blue line layer for a second. Okay. Yeah, go up to a much thicker brush here and add some shadows into there to balance that out. Okay, I think I'm going to solidify some of that. Cool. All right, now then. Her hair is mostly black, which is very, there's some very easy cheats I can use for that. And I might, but we'll see. A lot of times when I'm doing crazy black hair like she has, I will just kind of have this whole big shape and then fill it. Then come back in and touch it with some white.
Wow. I don't know. What happened? Oh, what happened? That was bigger than me. Yeah. If it's supposed to be on there, it's supposed to be all you. What happened to our screen there? I guess when I shared that thing, it popped off of you. Something. StreamYard's been really weird about that. Sometimes you'll clip something in the media assets and it'll change your whole format for you without you even knowing it, right?
Oof. Alright. And let's see here now. We'll add a little bit following down through here. Now then, start to fill this in. I'll come back through and do some little white highlights. Of course, then after that, she has these white locks that run out from the sides of her head, and I'll tend to do those on a separate layer. Nice. That's better there. Get some more hair flying out there because I just like doing it. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to put a hold line right under here. And now we're going to make a selection. Do my alt fill. And come in and fill the negative spaces like that. And then it's kind of a pain in the butt to go through and fill all those negative spaces. So I'll just select all of that, and we'll turn lightness to opacity. And it gets that to pop back through the way I want. Okay. Next up, I need to do her white locks, and I've got a funny way I like doing that is I'll put a layer in here and I'll turn on this border effect that basically just adds a stroke around the border, and I'll set it to 7 or 8 pixels, or 7 or 8 points. It's not pixels, it's bigger than pixels. And then come in, and when I draw in here with a white, you'll see that my stroke has this nice black line around it. It's one of my favorite little tricks with this character.
What's up, Ghosty? I see you over there. Ghost Pepper over on Pill Opportunity.
So rasterize it. And then I'll go, after I rasterize it, I'll come in and just use transparent pixels to blend it back out. It's a little back and forth, but it's worth it. So there we've got our characters and stuff. I'm going to merge that down her layer. Come on. So there she is. There she is. There he is. One of the things that's really neat about this kind of stuff, about working like this digitally, is like if I wanted to do a promo video with this, having these in layers like that means I can, I could pull this guy out and complete him and, animate his body moving around, do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. I've been doing a lot of promo videos lately for different books that I'm on, and it's actually caused me to get back into animating quite a bit.
Yeah. I seen a little piece of animation this morning that Nem did for his Space Monkeys book, and he's like, I don't know, I guess it took him pretty much most of a day to get about 25 seconds of it, If
you're getting 25 seconds in a day, that's actually a really good amount.
Yeah. But he's talking about like maybe doing a whole comic episode, and I was like, man, you talk about putting a month aside, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's animation is very time consuming. That's something I've worked in animation. I worked in animation for a long time, and it is incredibly time consuming. It's a royal pain. So now that we've got our characters, we can move on to doing. I can do these shards and stuff flying up here, which I'll do those in a couple different layers. It's like I'll have a layer on top. That's the stuff coming that's flying toward the viewer that's closer. And then the stuff in the back, stuff that I want behind them, I can put on those layers behind them. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to hide all my ink layers there for now. And let's just do these kind of jaggy shapes, and we'll make sure that they stay closed off. Okay. And this is going to be a good opportunity for y'all to see some really neat Clip Studio tricks here in a minute. There's a few of these. Let's turn that back off. Sometimes when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I'll switch over to this brush I've made called a rough pen, and it is exactly what it says. It's just a rough pen. It's got a bit of a texture to it, and it really yields a more natural sort of roughness to the line that I like for these kind of things. I may actually just have this completely break frame. There we go. And I'm just going to keep having some fun here with these weird shapes. Help build out some depth by every once in a while adding like a shape behind a shape.
Hell, it's almost 2 o'clock, bro.
Yeah, it's getting about that time. I'll show y'all what I do with this, and then we'll wrap it up. So here you see I've drawn those in. Of course, everything's showing through. I'm going to hit my made a selection. I'm going to hit my advanced fill. Then I'm going to take my paint bucket with transparent pixels, and we're going to clear out all that white. So now all that right there, you can see, sits right on top of everything.
Nice.
Yep. I think this is going to be a fun page. Oh, and with that, I'm going to pour myself some coffee and wish you all a good day, because it is time to close up shop.
There you go.
Hopefully when I leave here, I'll be going to pick up one of my vehicles.
Yeah, you got to have wheels. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Later, folks.
Let's see. What do we got later? We got all kinds of stuff. Indie CD Creatives. We got Silverline and First Impressions. Lots of good stuff tonight on the network. Don't miss out.
All right. Later, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
In the heart of a major city, in a place raised to honor Earth's past protectors, the world will again learn, sometimes, superpowered intrigue doesn't stop at the grave. Galaxy Memorial Park, Volume 1, beginning crowdfunding Memorial Day 2025.
I'll tell you, I'm at Steel City Comic Con. You're watching me at Madness Comic Network. What a crowd.
Love it.